Are you ready for Sunday school, kids?
Hello, and welcome to St. Thomas, Stittsville. My name's Marilee, and I want to welcome you again. And I really want to welcome you because today I'm going to be talking about welcoming, and hopefully very soon we'll be able to open those doors and have all the people welcome back into the church. People who've been here, people who've never been here, people who have come from afar or live close. We're going to welcome everybody. And I'm so excited about that. All the children are going to come back, and we're going to sing songs and play games and learn about Jesus. And it's just going to be wonderful. I'm going to ask you a question about that. If you were here and we were welcoming all the people back into the church, and all of a sudden Jesus walked in the door, would you welcome him too? Would you welcome him in the way you're welcoming everybody else? I think most of you are saying yes, of course. But I want you to think for a minute. Jesus might not look the way you think he's going to look. He might be old, he might be young, he might be tall, he might be short, he might have long hair down his back, he might have short hair. We don't know what he's going to even look like. What if he sat at the back and said nothing? What if he came to the front and sang really loud? We wouldn't know him, but we would welcome him anyway, right? Because we welcome strangers as well as people we know. And that's what I want to talk to you about today, because one day, Jesus was rejected at his own hometown. His church was called a synagogue. And one day, when he was around 30, he left Nazareth, his hometown where he grew up. Everybody knew him in Nazareth, so it was kind of hard to leave Nazareth. He was the son of a carpenter, who was a carpenter himself. And so a lot of people knew him. They would go to him to make tables and chairs and benches and even maybe wooden spoons. So they knew Jesus. Some of them have taught him since he was a young boy. Some of them have taught him all that he knows about God. And one day he just walked out of Nazareth and they weren't sure where he went. But he went all around the villages, all around the Sea of Galilee, teaching and healing and helping people learn a wonderful thing about God, about God's love. And it made people feel good inside. It made them feel happier. It made them feel wonderful again. And he was healing people. He even brought a little girl back to life. Amazing. He fed 5,000 people with 5 loaves and 2 fishes. He did amazing things. But when he came back to Nazareth, they didn't realize that this was the same person they'd heard about. This was their Jesus. This was their carpenter boy. This was the boy they had taught at school, had taught him all about God, everything he knew. And Jesus went into their synagogue and started teaching a new way of looking at God through the eyes of love. And they were at first puzzled. How does he know this? We're the ones who taught him everything. How does he know all this? This can't possibly be true. Something's wrong here. And they started to get a little upset. And the more Jesus talked, the more upset they got. This is our little Jesus. How dare he tell us what we don't know when we have taught him? Finally, they just said, enough, Jesus, get out. Get out of Nazareth. We don't want you here. All his friends, all his family, people he didn't even know, were telling him to get out of Nazareth. He was heartbroken. But even on his way out of Nazareth, he still taught people and healed people as he was leaving Nazareth. He never stopped. He never stopped sharing God's love. It was very hard for him to leave. But he hoped, I would think he prayed, that word would get into Nazareth of the things that he was doing and teaching all around the countryside, so that one day everybody in Nazareth would believe as well. We're going to say a little prayer now about welcoming people. You ready? You can say the words after me. Dear God, just as Jesus shared your love to everyone he met, help us to do the same, to show God's love with or without words, to be kind and accepting of all children and their families, no matter where they come from and no matter what. Amen. Hi, we're down in God's garden and I've got some really good news for you. We're going to make a special craft today and it's going to come from your imagination. And once you've done, I want you to bring it into the church and give it to Nicole upstairs, or give the church a call and tell them that you're coming. Or you can even drop it off at my house. Just like we did for the Easter, the gallery that we did on the walls with all the Easter pictures, we're going to make welcome pictures for when everybody comes back to the church. And we're going to put them in all different rooms all around the church, so no matter where anybody is, they feel welcome. Okay, so you're going to help me with that. A little while ago, we did some painting and I showed you how to make some special things using a circle. I don't know if you remember that one, but we did making old things new again. I'll put it up a little higher so you can see what I mean here. For these, we used the end of a pencil and we just dipped the pencil in the paint and made dots. We turned those dots into flowers. We turned those dots into leaves. We made lots of little tiny dots for decoration. And then we used those dots to make words. But this is going to be too small for what we're doing now. So I'm going to show you how to do it a little bit bigger. Okay? So I was hunting around in the toy room and I found a perfect thing. I found a block. This block is circular on this side, and so I thought this would make really good dots. We could make flowers or anything out of this. So let's try that. I've got some paints here and I'm just going to dip the end of it into the paint. Okay. More. And then I'm going to make dots on. I'm going to pretend this is my poster. So I'm going to make a few dots here. Get a little more paint. Make sure I've got enough. I like to make 5 dots because usually flowers often have 5 petals. So 5 dots like that. And then we can use the other side of it and one more yellow dot and put it in the middle. And there we have a flower. So that's one way that you can make flowers. And remember, when you do the flowers too, you can make them into leaves. I'm just going to show you a little bit of the leaf just to remind you. If you have, oops, that one didn't work. Hang on here. A little more on here. A little bit more. There we go. This is needy. Because I think I put it in the wire too soon. Okay, then you can take a brush and just brush up, and that makes a petal. It makes a leaf. It could make a raindrop. It makes all kinds of things. Okay, so now I'm going to show you a little bit how to use that circle and make it into a word, okay, or a letter, to make the words welcome. So I'm going to use a different color for that. Around in the paint a little bit. I'm going to make a dot here, and a dot here, and a dot here, and one closer to it here. Okay, just sort of spread that paint around. So we have 4 dots. So then I'm going to use a little bit of paint on my brush and I'm going to bring this dot down to this one, this dot down to this one, and then I'm going to start here and bring the lines down and make the W so that they have the round edges on them, like this. And that kind of makes for a pretty cool looking W. Put the round edges on it. For the letter E, we're going to make that differently than the way you would. Normally we're taught to do the straight line over and then up and around, but this time I want you just to make the circle first. And I want you to pull the paint. Okay, I don't want you to push the paint. Turn the brush as you're moving it, and then we're going to make a little circle by just twisting around on the brush. Okay, there's a C. And we're going to turn that C into an E, just like that. Okay, then that's going to bring the paint around so that it will cover everything. Now we're going to start with that little circle that I'm going to show you again. I just put it on here, and I twist the whole paintbrush around, and then I bring it down, just like I did on the W. And then I'm going to twist it around again, and that's our L. The C is just like the E. I'm going to pull the circle around and twist the brush. You can see how I'm moving my arm around. We're going to put a little bit of a circle on this end and a little bit of a circle on this end. Here's the O. Of course, that's going to be simple because it's just like the C, and you're just going to follow it through. Okay? Move your whole arm as you're doing the letters. The M, you're going to make a little bit of a circle, and then bring it down, and then your bumps. And on the end of each bump, you're going to make just a little bit of a circle. So that it's finished nicely. This one should be a bit longer, right? And another at the bottom. Now you can do your letters this way or cross sideways. You can do them at an angle. You can do them any way you want to. But using dots will help you get your letters looking a little bit more professional. Okay? So I'm going to go over now and tell you all about how we're going to make the posters using these letterings. All right? We're going to make welcome signs out of different things, and you can use your imagination. I used a piece of wood, just a piece of wood I found downstairs in my basement, and I painted it blue and wrote welcome on it. And then, like I used that red block, I used other blocks just to dip in the paint and make different patterns all around it and a big round happy face. So you can use things around your house that you can find in your room or somewhere else that you can use to make prints on your pictures. Now I want you to use your imagination, just like we did before. And I want you to use half a piece of Bristol board, but it doesn't have to be a rectangle shape. In fact, I've made mine into a cloud shape. And I'm going to show you how I'm going to make mine. But you can make yours any way you want to. Right? Remember, once you've done, you can do 2, 3, or 4, or 5. You can do big ones, you can do small ones, whatever you want to do. And then bring them into the church so that we can have them all ready when people come. So this particular one that I'm doing, I decided that I was going to make some sunshine. So I made a half circle. I didn't have any yellow Bristol board, so I just painted it yellow. So you can use whichever you want. So this one I'm just going to put a little bit of glue along the back edge on the bottom here. And then I'm going to put it peeking out from behind the cloud. And then I'm going to write on it, which I had my markers here a minute ago. Oh, sorry, there they are. You found them before I did. Good for you. And I'm going to write the word sun, only I'm going to write it as if it was Jesus the Son. S-O-N. Sunshine. Little play on words. So that's the first part. Then I'm going to put the sun, turn it over, and I have some strips here that I'm going to put on the back to make the rays of the sun. Oops, put it this way. Doing it backwards a little bit. There we go. The best thing about crafts is no matter if you make a mistake, it doesn't matter because you can always fix it. Because you are the artist. You're the artist, and you can fix anything that you make by using a bit of your imagination. Okay, so I'm going to put all these on here so that my sun really looks like it's shining. One more, and then I can turn it over. Just make sure there's no glue showing because it might stick to your table if you don't do that. There we go. I think this might stick. Okay, I'll hold it up for you to see my beautiful sunshine. Okay, whoops, I'm going to fix those when I turn it this way. Because the glue is not quite dry yet. You have to wait for it to dry a bit. Then I'm going to write on the front part, welcome. So I'm going to use what I call bubble letters. So it's a little bit different than the one I showed you, but a bubble letter is just the outside of a letter, leaving space in the middle to color. So I'm going to start with my W. And make a bubble letter. And then I'm going to do an E, starting again, not with the line in the center, but at the top. So I make an E like this, and then I put a circle in the middle here, and there's an E. And then the L is very easy. And then the C is around and up. An O. And then an M is kind of hard because you have to do a small bump and two bigger bumps on the top, down and around. And then an E again, starting with the letter C, going around, and leaving a space for a circle in the middle of the E. Now you can color that in, or you can put sparkles, or whatever you want. And then you can use maybe a little bit of blue paint to sort of maybe make the cloud look more like a cloud. Like this. So any way that you want. Okay. And then you can do little patterns on there. Maybe you could draw some bird shapes. So there are some birds flying around. The bird shape is really easy to make with just a little bit of twisting like this. So maybe he's got his wings up a little bit. So he's flying around in the sky. So hopefully my sun is going to dry there. And I can hold it up for you to show you. Very simple, very easy, but there's one way you can make a welcome sign. The sun shines. Okay, I'm really curious to see what you're going to come up with your imagination. The other one that I came up with is also, there's also a picture of it in the children's activity guide that I send you home all the time. And it's a picture of a church. And it kind of looks like this when you find it on the activity page. And I've changed it just a little bit to suit what I want to do, so you don't have to do it exactly the same as that. It just gives you some ideas. There are some other ideas also. There's 5 different posters that other people have made. So you have lots and lots of choices. Okay, on this one I've made the picture of a church like this, so that it goes up and down, sort of look like our church. But I'm going to do a little bit different with it. I'm going to use my scissors, and I'm going to cut a little line there, and cut a little line there. And then I'm going to use my ruler and a pen. I know sometimes if you try to fold Bristol board, it doesn't fold exactly right. So I'm going to show you how to fold your Bristol board really carefully so that it's a perfect straight line. You just use a ruler and a pen, and you're going to push fairly hard where you want it to bend. Okay, I'm going to want it to bend that side, and I'm going to want it to bend on this side. Okay, so now that I've cut those in, I can bend these, and that works just right. And I can bend these over as well by making a straight line at an angle. And this one too. Okay. So I've drawn the straight line so that when I bend it, it will bend exactly the way I want it to. Okay, I can't even see it from this side, but when I bend it, it works. So then you're going to fold this up a little bit, and fold this up, and put a little staple in here. It's my stapler. And do the same on the other side. Put a staple in there, and there you have an amazingly little, but wonderfully made little welcome sign. Welcome to our church. The doors even open up. And inside the doors it says, "You are welcome." A little surprise on the doors. I'm so excited to find out what you're going to make. And I hope you do it this week or next week, because I hope very soon we'll be able to have lots of people come in and see them again. All right, we're going to do a song now. I am the church, you are the church, we are the church together. And that's why we're going to welcome everybody here. We've sung this before, but I will sing it through for you, and then you will help me sing it again. If you know it already, please sing along with me. We're going to start off by singing All Around Stittsville, but the second time it's going to be All Around Ottawa, okay? And we always sing All Around the World. Are you ready? I am the church, you are the church, we are the church together. All around Stittsville, all around the world, yes, we're the church together. I am the church, you are the church, we are the church together. All around Ottawa, all around the world, yes, we're the church together.